So we're going to take a quick look at what compound interest actually is. So to understand how compound interest works, you have to understand how simple interest works. So you should know that by now. So I'm going to do a quick recap. Let's say you start off with, let's say you go to a bank, and this bank, instead of taking money from you, it takes apples. So let's say you start off with 1 apple, okay? 1 apple. So you go to this bank, you deposit your apple, and what this bank does is it offers you a rate of interest, just like any other bank would do with money. And let's say that this bank, offers you a rate of 100%. So that means that you actually get a full apple. So let's take a quick look at what that would look like. So at the beginning you've got your 1 apple. After the first year, you're going to have 1 and then another 1, so that will give you 2 apples. Then at the end of the second year, remember you now have 2 apples, so 2 plus another 1, that gives you 3 apples. And this would keep on going, so after the third year you'd have 4, after the fourth year you'd have 5, and so on. So this one is my years, just to make it clear, and this is the number of apples. Excuse my horrible drawing. There you go. So years is 3, number of apples 4, years is 4, number of apples is 5. And this would just keep on going. So 5, 6, and so on. You get the picture. Now, what you notice here is that every year the interest is just 1 apple. So that's actually important to realize. Every year interest is the same, right? It's 1, and it's 1 every year. So that's a crucial difference between compound and simple interest. So in simple interest, let's say you start off and it's going to look at your case as a long-term plan. Every year it's going to give you the same interest, regardless of the fact that your amount is actually increasing every year. Now compound interest, on the other hand, how it works is this. Again, you're going to start off with 1 apple, okay? So you still have 1 apple, okay? And you go to the same bank, and your rate is still 100%. Yeah, this is rate. I'm sorry. Rate. It's still 100%. So how compound interest works, though, is going to be a little bit different. So we know that the rate is 100%, so whatever I put I should get an extra 1. So at the beginning I have 1 apple. After year 1 I'll have 1 plus 1 is 2. Alright, so that's the same as simple interest. And after year 2 though, again I have 2, but I don't add 1, I add 2. So that will give me 4 apples. So that's a key difference. After year 3, yeah, you should be able to figure it out, the pattern. It's 4 plus 4. So 8. And so on. So after year 4, I would have 16. After year 5, I would have 32. So the interesting thing to notice, and this is the key difference between compound interest and simple interest, it's that the interest is not the same every year. In fact, it changes, and if you go far enough, or with a high enough rate, then you're going to realize that the difference between simple interest and compound interest, if you put it on a graph, they're actually they end up becoming very, very different. So you're going to see that on the next page. Okay, so this is a graph of simple interest and compound interest, of how they differ. So the initial investment here, I'm going to denote that by P. That was just 100 rupees. The rate we said was 12%, and this was compounded annually, so once every year. And this line, this one, that's the simple interest, while this one was the compound interest. So what you'd be really interested to know is that at this rate, after 30 years, so suppose you made this investment in 2000, after, this is 10, this is 10, this is 10, so after 30 years, you'd have almost rupees 2996 from CI, from the compound interest, but only rupees 460 if you invested it at simple interest. So the difference becomes really, really large. So hope you understood that. If you've got any problems, just ask. Thanks.